Okay, people, I'm tired, but it is what it is. So, it is May 22nd, 2019, and I've got this light. Do you see it? Literally blinding me. This reminds me of that old projector that I I still have it, when I was talking on about the United States and the housing crises, and I'll see if I can go find that old video, and I'll put it into the description box in this video. This is just a test. Now, my daughter went for me today down to Metrotown, took the SkyTrain to pick up this camera. This light is obnoxious, but besides that point, because this other little camera that was sent to me, right? I don't know, there's something wrong with it. But besides that point, obviously I can't use this one. So I just got up on Facebook and Googled camcords, and I did it once before, and there wasn't really anything to buy, but this time around, long story short, I ended up purchasing 3 camcords today off of Facebook. I think the total was like $225 or something. This one that I'm using right now was $100. And then somebody's bringing me a camera for $70 tomorrow. I'm giving $10 for gas, and the camera itself is only $60. So that's camera coming in tomorrow. And then another person is sending me a camera through the Pure Later Express, which is the camera itself was only $75, and then $10 for delivery. So add up that, and so I'm going to have 3 cameras to work with. But because I don't know what I'm doing, I gave Tisha the directions to go buy me those little storage cards, right? Which I never have used, not even once in my life. And since this little one wasn't working, I'm getting blinded here, people. Like, my eyes are that bad, right? Now I'm reading up about, like, the different operating systems within the camera itself, whereas with this thing, I just took everything for granted. Same thing with the X camera, right? The first one I ever had. I just turned it on and away I went. Never stopped to think about it. I never had to use those little, those little cards to videotape or nothing, right? Everything was all built into those cameras when I bought them. So, because I'm doing it this way, I'm trying to understand. First of all, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with this one. I'm wondering if maybe, I need to do something, and I just don't know if I'm doing it. Well, I haven't done anything yet, because it's like play, turn it on and go, right? You would think it would reformat itself and it would upload and record correctly, but nothing is working on it. It's not recording correctly. The voice is crackling, it's blurry. When I upload on the computer, it's not even the whole video, right? It freezes and you can hear my voice. The camera itself is cutting out. Now, I did read where if the camera cuts out, it probably has something to do with the battery being low. So that problem I can fix. But as for the other stuff, I'm not too sure about. So, just to cut to the chase, right? Because I've been dealing with this old ancient one of mine, outside, inside, in the rain, in the snow, in the dirt, in the sand, wherever I go, right? This thing has been with me for a long time. Dropped it a few times, whatever, I don't know. I never dropped it, but maybe somebody else did. I don't have to come and smack the camera, people. So remember the good old days? Smack! Okay. So I'm just doing a little test here just to see how it responds. But as to this light, honestly, I don't know how to turn it off because I don't have the directions, because I gave the directions and I asked my daughter to go tomorrow when she's out at the dentist to buy another one of those little cards, because, again, I don't know what I'm doing. But I couldn't wait. I was so excited to try this one, right? So I ended up taking out the little card on this one and just faked the funk. Seriously, I just faked the funk and it's working. But I don't know how to turn off this bright light. You would think that there would be a way to do it, but I don't have the directions because I gave the directions to my daughter, telling her, make sure you get the right kind of card for this particular camera. Here, take the directions. So there's no, misunderstanding, right? And then I don't have to wait, but I couldn't wait. So I ended up taking the card, put it in this one, but I really don't know how to turn off this bright light. But I just want to see how it records in the meantime, right? I haven't really been feeling like doing videos. One, in part because this one wasn't working correctly. I was out in the yard the other day with Andre planting food, and he tried to turn it on and it didn't work, and I just said, forget it, right? And then my kids have been razzing me, right? Both of them. They go in cycles. But you have to remember too, people. It's been a year since Shimei died, right? We did that memorial celebration of life, what was it, May 18th of 2018 for Shimei, right? So technically we should be doing another memorial coming up soon, which we're talking about, right? And maybe inviting some other people. And we got some really, 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 really nasty news. Now, here's the good old days. I'm actually making a tea or a coffee for myself, and I'm going to turn this off, and then I'm going to come back and let's see what happens. Hold on. Okay, I think I fixed it. It said light. I pushed the button a few times. It turned off, it turned back on, and pushed it again, and turned off. And I think it's recording. And from what I can see, it seems to look okay. So, I don't know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, my kid's crabbing on me. Yeah, right? And, and I tell him, like, don't take your displaced anger out on me. Oh, but Mom, you're this and you're that, and I'm like, yeah, well, So, because we heard some stuff here, people. I don't want to get into details right now because, I just feel really bad for the young person who died. 20 years old. Definitely not a leader in terms of, he didn't lead himself down the garden path. Somebody else led him down that garden path, and it got him dead, basically. What's new in the city of Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, right? There's a lot of young people just dropping off like flies, right? But, and again, I'm not going to get into details because I don't feel comfortable talking about it yet. Because, one, I'm not gossiping, people. Just understand, I am not gossiping. This is true, right? But the thing is, if the person who injured Shimei would have been charged with murder, can't say it any other way, people. It is what it is. That's why we have courts. It would have been proven. Pretty damn fucking close. Within a shadow of a doubt. I don't know how the court system works, but if the court system is corrupt within what I do with the lawsuits in order to protect my family and the future generations of my family and friends, because it, extends out of my family circle and it goes into my neighborhood to other people. If that system itself is corrupt, right, which is the civil lawsuit system, which is what is that? I can't remember. Common law, right? Then the freaking criminal justice system is corrupt. But yet that's where all the resources in terms of the provincial financing mainly goes into criminal law. However, it's for usually petty crimes. Traffic tickets, spitting on the sidewalk, right? Stealing pop bottles, that kind of shit. Nothing in the realm of what happened to Uncle John being medically kidnapped or Shimei being murdered in her own home. No justice, no peace, people. Because if the person who injured her would have been arrested and faced a jury of his peers, the person who has just recently died, and I can't get into details about it, people, not at this point, would be alive today. 99.5% he would be alive if the person who injured my daughter would have gone to jail. What is that telling you? So, of course, we're all in the house upset because not only do we still have to cope with the loss of Shimei and how she died with no justice and no peace, not to mention what Fraser Health Authority did, because that's a whole different ball of wax, right? We're now getting information that more people are dying around this individual that is basically acquiring a rumor that's outside of anything that I say on YouTube, because really my following is very small. I'm highly censored. I have been for a long time because I'm a truther, only I'm a different kind of truther. I don't talk about the 911 Twin Towers being blown up with airplanes and the conspiracy around that. I talk about real life with real people, such as my own family, in that sense of truth, right? So, just that in itself provides censorship. And, I don't dress up for the camera. I don't have my little bustier, showing my cleavage. Not that I have any. I'm not freaking doing my makeup with the towel wrapped around me, talking about whatever I'm talking. I come in from the outside being in the dirt. I come in after arguing with kids or whatever it is, people. I just come in and I give it to you raw. Smack. Remember that? The good old days. Smack. Wait, camera smarten up. Shh. I haven't had to smack it once. The thing is, though, my kids have been crabbing on me, and we know with spring here now, I'm working in the yard more, right? Only I'm like 58, people, and I'm tired, I inherited a baby that's disabled, and, I just whatever, right? And, it's not easy, and sometimes my kids, they rag on me for this, and I'm not doing that fast enough, and I'm doing that the wrong way, and I never did anything right in my life, and everything's my fault, and I'm like, well, fucking go away, I don't want to talk to you, leave me alone, move out if you don't like it, and, and blah, and blah, and blah, and it's just... But a lot of it is displaced anger, and like I said, we just heard that within the last month, a young person, 20 years old, died. I can tell you how he died. Basically, people, he was in a car with a bunch of people, and because he was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, somehow he was cornered into taking the fall. I guess you could say he was the fall guy. Right? And because the car got stopped by the cops, that young person sat up there and ate a bunch of dope, thinking that he could vomit it up later. And it was a variety of dope, not just one kind. It was a mixture of different kinds. And he ended up dying from it because of the time lapse. When Shimei died, obviously I wanted to know how fentanyl, mainly, affected the body when it was introduced to the body in different methods. Depending on the amount. But if you eat fentanyl or drink it in a drink, right? I'm not sure, honestly, if it's faster with just liquid or if it's the same with liquid and food. It takes a little longer for the gut to digest it and for it to get into the system. But once it's there, it's there. So by eating it anyway, it can take up to about 30 minutes or so. 15 to 30 minutes if you eat fentanyl in a dose that's enough to kill you, if you have no tolerance, I would assume. Right? You see, that's another key factor. You have to be a regular user of these drugs in order to build up a tolerance. And if you build up a tolerance, you would need more before it would kill you. She may had no tolerance, so any amount would have killed her. So, you know, I did my own little research in my past videos. You hear me talk about that. And if you ingest food, if you eat it, it can take up to 15 to 30 minutes for it to fucking kill you. Well, being stopped by the cops, everybody's got to bail out of the fucking car. How long does that take, people? If you're sitting there with 5 baggies of dope in your gut, thinking you can throw it up, and 25 minutes goes by, you're toast. The point is, and this is why I'm saying it, I wasn't going to really talk about it, but it's obviously disturbing my family because my family has like been going nuts on me. Anytime we get too stressed out with a whole bunch of shit that's outside of the shit, you know, they take it out on who's the closest, and that's me, right? And it's hard on me, people. It's so hard on me. So I was kind of like a little bit of a rebel today. That little camera didn't work. I don't have time to be upsetting anybody, including myself. I'll try and fix it as I'm reading over the next little while. If not, then the person who sent it to me should send it back, because that means it was broken when it was sent to me. Right? Because, so I just went off and I just bought 3 different cameras today, hoping that one will work, preferably 2, or if not all 3, because if they all work, this is what's going to happen. I'll probably use one just for outside. And then I'll use another one, whether it's this one or something else, I'm not sure yet, for just inside. And then if I can't fix this one and I have to send it back, then the third one I'll give to Andre, because Andre's really looking forward to having this one, but I don't want him learning something and getting frustrated, right? Because as he makes his videos, I'm going to sit his little butt down here and I'm going to teach him how to upload them. And then eventually I'm going to teach him how to convert them over to a different program. Even though he can't read, he'll know how to do it once I show him how to do it, right? And if he practices enough time, then he's learning something, and that is good. So because my kids were ragging on me a bit today, and I'm just like frustrated with life in general, I said to heck with it. We're going to get something that actually works here in the immediate and in the now. And so that's why I have this camera with 2 more coming tomorrow. And I'm like, well, you know, it's a good thing I don't gamble, because that Facebook, because not only have I bought these cameras, but I bought like a crock pot, a 5-gallon crock pot to make fermented vegetables with, right? And I bought, what else? Oh, I got this. Oh, let me go get it. Hold on. Oh, man, this is nice, people. Oh. This thing, can you see this? It's gotta be at least 25 pounds. It's heavy. As a matter of fact, I should try and weigh it. I bet you it's more than 25 pounds. You could use this as a weight. Like, it's so heavy, man. I can't even, like, really lift it. It's like pulling my arms. What it is, isn't that just beautiful? Look at that, people. Okay? it came from a lady who I think is Hindu. Really nice lady. Because she had one of those, I guess like a Buddha or something, statue by her front door, right? It made me think she was Hindu, right? And, but I could be wrong. Anyway, she offered to maybe give me a demo, so I invited her to do a video with me. Oh, I warned her my house is small, but we'll make do, right? And we'll grind up some wheat that I have here in food storage, right? In comparison to new wheat bought today, to see what the difference is, right? In terms of wheat being in a jar stored in a dark, cool space, with wheat being in a jar being stored on my counter, and with wheat recently being bought in a store. And what you do is you know, this is a mill grinder, right? That's how you can make flour. She used it for spices. Well, I'll use it for spices too, but I can grind up, what is that called? Barley, you know, like barley, just barley itself. I can grind up, obviously, wheat, you know, those kind of things, right? And, $25. Can you imagine that? $25. This is so nice. So I bought it for YouTube, obviously, and I bought it for food storage, right? So that if something happened, I've got my pot in the cubby over there with the, what do you call that? With the bowls inside, so that if Fukushima up there with the Daiichi reactors in Japan, if they blow their stacks, or if for any reason the radiation that's leaking into the ocean gets so out of control and starts really contaminating the West Coast, and we the public find out about it, I can distill my own water with those pots. And if for some reason, you know, and something happens and earthquake comes and, you know, you're standing in the food line and the government just gives you a bag of wheat and tell you to go home and suck it up, I got a means to make flour now. So I'm very happy with this. So, yeah. One day I'll do a video around that, but right now I've been like planting food in the garden and stuff, and because I'm doing that, obviously I'm spending more time outside, and then my kids get mad at me because my son wants me to clear out the basement, and it's been cold, and you know, I'm tired, people, right? I tire much easier now. So I don't want to be working out in the cold, pulling and moving things around. I've been waiting for it to get warm, but before I can really go off and do something else, I have to get the plants in the ground. And because my kids, they just don't connect the dots, you know, they don't. And then when they hear terrible news like we've just heard recently, right, you know, it's really upsetting, because now that's two people, no justice, no peace. There's actually more, but two that's like right up in your fucking face. That young man was in my house, living in my house for 4 or 5 months at one point in the year 2016. And to find out that he lost his life at age 20 under the circumstances that he did, in part of because of what the cops failed to fucking do. The cops and the coroner's office and Fraser Health Authority, which all comes to a default of the provincial government. Mr. Premier John Horgan. Right? What can I say? So anyway, I don't want to drag this out because, first of all, again, I'm really tired. I've been sitting here all day ordering cameras online. I've met a lot of nice people on Facebook. Oh, I'll show you what else I bought. Hold on. There's actually a lot of honest people, you know, it's inspiring. The Facebook, this market, Facebook, I should start advertising for them. It's inspiring in the way that you meet nice people, like literally honest, nice people. Because, you know, some of them, not all of them, half of them, they want you to e-transfer the money to them first, because I'm asking them to bring it to me because I don't have a car. So I offered to pay $10 for gas because gas is expensive, you know, and if they're going to go drive all the way out from Mission or Langley or wherever they come from, Maple Ridge, which is far, far, far away. One lady came from Burnaby. I'll show you that too. Hold on, after this. This one came from Vancouver. Right? You know, you e-transfer them money and they're living up in Vancouver or they're living up in Maple Ridge or they're sending it in the post office or whatever it is that you're doing off of Facebook. Everybody's coming through. Everybody's saying what they're going to do, and it's great. This came today from Vancouver. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. What I like about it is that it has a glass lid. That's why I bought it. Because I am trying to build in a more permanent diet plan for Amari that helps to giving him food, healthy food regularly, like juices and stuff, where it's convenient in terms of you don't have to make it daily, because when you're busy like me, the last thing you can do is juice watermelon every day. Never mind, can you afford to buy it every day? Because I can't, right? So I got this for the lid because this I bought. I'll show you. Hold on a minute. This is Mari's fault. Hey, now I have one of these. The only thing is, mine doesn't have a gauge on it. Here, I don't want to break my new bowl, so let me put this down first. So the bowl is to make food for Amari. I just like the lid. That's what I liked about it, right? And of course, I'm thinking about my friends on YouTube. Not my foes, but my friends. That like to watch every now and then those cooking videos, right? So I always like to have those cute little bowls and that kind of thing around. Okay, but again, you know, I'm thinking, well, how can I deal with Amari, right? We're gonna get into a routine. I bought this. Do you see? You know what's special about this though, people? Is this gauge. That right there. Mine doesn't have a gauge. 95 bucks. That's a big ass canner. Do you know how many pints of jars I can get into, or half pint jars that I can get into this canner? A whole whack of them. Okay, let me just go put it down. And now that I've got that, and I'm going to be making the little half pint jars of food for Amari, right? For that staple, like those baby bottles with juice in the freezer, right? So I can mix everything up and just makes life easier, right? I can probably even now get into the 1 pint jars. 1 pint? The small ones are a 1/4 pint. The little ones are a half pint. The next ones up are a pint. and then it goes into a quart. I can take pint-sized jars, which my son is, if I can, meat. He likes those things. And I can make stews and stuff like that. And I can can them in that with the gauge, which is just an added measure to make sure that you're at the right temperature when you're processing meats and certain vegetables. Where mine doesn't have that gauge. Mine just has that little jiggly thing. That's it. And the vent. Right? And because I'm going to be canning for Amari, right? I just felt, for safety reasons, and I like to learn things too, right? People all the time, you know, I like to. Anytime I can learn something new that's not too stressful, I like to do that. And I'm trying to teach Tisha. I'm trying to teach Tisha before I die, so that when I die, she can continue to do these things for Amari and her own family. Because it would be devastating for Amari to have Nana do all these things for him and then suddenly die, and then he doesn't have that anymore. So I thought having the gauge would be good for two reasons. Mainly, one is that added measure to make sure that things are pressure canned correctly when you're dealing with small children. Two, I just thought it would be better to teach Tisha with the gauge versus without the gauge, so that when I die, she'll be able to continue on with the process, right? And not get too stressed out about what am I going to feed Amari today. Because as I was saying to one of my friends earlier, it's not like you can give Amari a sandwich and send him on his way, right? In terms of like any other active child that's not suffering from a disability that prevents them from moving, right? Amari couldn't even hold a sandwich and eat a sandwich because he can't hold it. He wouldn't know. His hands go like this, right? So, right. And he's just starting to learn how to chew, and how well he'll chew later on, I don't know. So making nice stews with the right types of foods that are easy for him to digest, or whatever, under the right conditions with a gauge, I thought was a good investment. And that thing only costed me $95 and $10 for gas. What, $105? And the woman drove it to me all the way from Burnaby, which is far, far away. That's what I mean. I'm like meeting all these really nice people, right? So I got some stamps. Princess Diane. Right, because I have a stamp collection from when I was a kid. And I'm going to start getting Andre involved with sorting out a whole whack of stamps as a means to start teaching him, what is it called? Countries. And you see this? And then there's a whole bunch in there. All that for $5. That's pretty good. So anyway, the thing that I'm doing mostly right now is just trying to get the plants in the ground. You know, I'm getting emotionally beat up for it though, because I'm spending time outside and, you know, and not doing enough on the inside, and or whatever it is. And as I'm doing that, you know, I'm chucking out a few things here and chucking out a few things there. And I've got somebody now going to take on the chore of working on my car. This is the third guy. I don't know what happened to Redneck Mafia, but besides that point, right? We've got a new guy on the job now, so hopefully we'll get Betsy on the road within the month. That would be kind of cool. She's been sitting there for 3 years, people. That car was parked in January of 2016. 1 year after they took Uncle John, because I insured the car on the 9th or whatever it was of 2015, because John and I decided to insure the car, right? Because we were sick. We had that flu in the house. And I walked off to the insurance company, sicker than a dog, to go insure the car, right? So that I could take us to the doctor. Uncle John hadn't gotten sick yet, as far as I was aware of. I was really sick. I slept for the week. I woke up. I said, gee, John, you know, I'm whacked. Like, I don't know what the hell this flu shit is. It went through everybody in the house. And just as I was coming out of it, you know, we agreed for me to go get the insurance. I got the insurance. And by, the 13th, I had to call non-emergency ambulance because I was afraid that he got the flu, which he did, and that he would have slept like me for a whole week and would have gotten dehydrated because he was old and, you know, God forbid if he died on me in bed, right? I didn't want that happening. I didn't want Uncle John to die. So I said, gee, John, you know, you need to go to hospital because, non-emergency, because this is a really, really bad flu. Even though I had insured the car, right? Because I went and walked after I slept for that week and I was sick. And then it hit him, and versus taking him to a doctor and chancing it, I thought, no, I think maybe you should go to hospital. And look what happened to him, people. So anyway, because I had insured it, I drove it for the year, and then I parked it because I got stuck with the full debt load of the house. And it's been sitting there since January 9th of 2016. So that's over 3 years that car has been sitting there. Hasn't moved. It's in pretty rough shape, but it's a trooper, and it's gotten us through thick and thin. And the person that's going to be working on it knows about cars. So, yeah, probably get that on the road pretty soon. And then I'm going to teach Tisha to drive. So anyway, I just wanted to check out this video camera to see how it works. So far, I'm very impressed for the 33 seconds that I uploaded already. But I wanted to move around and get loud and bitch and complain about my kids. That's what I wanted to do, people. I wanted to just bitch about my bossy kids bossing me around as if I don't work hard enough as it is, right? As if my life isn't hard enough as it is.